Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, and/or their affiliate and supported ministries and/or nonprofits. Today's title: Learn how to do stuff.
Properly.
I guess I could have put that on there.
That's okay. You're good.
Merge. Good morning. Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in the beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Steve.
Thank you.
Steve's here today. My Reagan, garbage and men like you to hate these. I like the French fried taters with the mustard on them. I can't do the
There you
sling
go.
blade.
I was going to say you didn't merge.
It's why you pull. I should try to sing this in a British accent.
Hello.
I am yours forevermore.
Oh. Could you imagine that in British? Hey, Dad. Jordan.
Is Jordan on there?
He's at my watch party.
Is he? Jordan is? Good
Hey,
morning,
Jordan.
everybody. Welcome to the party. We're glad to have you here. Welcome to the Morning Drive. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
We're glad to have everybody with us today. So,
Good morning, Troy.
Troy Johansson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I woke him up this morning. We were going to start his training this morning, but I decided I wanted him to start training next Monday, start of a new week,
Right. Makes sense.
and then it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Training
Gonna learn how to do stuff.
here.
Yeah, here.
About time Jay got a shirt.
I got a shirt.
Steve Schultz.
100%
Yeah, I know.
cotton.
I'm telling you.
It's a large. Next time I wear it, you'll see that it fits me right.
I mean, it's a little big on you,
Yeah.
but it's 100% cotton,
So it's not going to be as big when I
so
dry
it's
it.
not gonna be as big when you dry
It
it.
goes through the dryer and it's going to be smaller.
Smaller.
It's going to be smaller.
Smaller.
And that shirt was made by. What's her name, Jennifer?
Jennifer.
At Ozarks Mountain Craft Mall. Ozark Mountain Craft Mall.
Yes.
That's at 940 Missouri 76, Highway 76, Branson, Missouri. That is 417-320-1221. She does all kinds of stuff, cups, shirts. There's also a bunch of vendors in there that have booths. You are one of them. You sell honey sticks.
Yes.
Um,
And
You go up there
smoke gone. I
Sometimes.
got a lot of empty jars.
Do you really? Sometimes you can see people up there performing their craft.
yeah, really.
True. He does classes, Mr. M, the one that did the wooden names.
Oh,
that you said.
okay.
He's one of the crafters. He does classes there, but he does classes off property as well.
So I'm excited. I'm sad Randy won't be here today, so we're going to pull another classic episode out of the archives. So Randy Barr, he won't be here today. But right after that classic episode, we have a new show starting for you called Crime Stoppers with Dr. Steve Albrecht. And it's all about, Crime Stoppers. It's about
Stopping crime.
cop stuff and guns, and I mean, he's an author. He's written a lot of stuff.
Wasn't he one of our?
The Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Thank
he
you,
was-
Troy.
He also has a class that he. There's also a lesson that he does at Axe Ministry University.
Is it Axe University or is it Axe Fest?
That one was part of Axe University.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
nice.
Jordan had a good breakfast. He had eggs
gonna
with
be fun.
biscuits
It's gonna
and
be fun.
honey.
So-
Training for a lesson that
Yeah, it seems like every time I'm talking to that boy,
So-
he's heating up a pack of ramen.
He actually taught. So in this building, all of the exits are centrally located. So you would have to. So if there was, say, an active shooter in here, and I know that's something hard, to talk about. If there was an active shooter in this building on this floor, you would have to know some tactical
Morning,
skills
Jana.
Right.
to safely get out, and understanding how movements work, how to listen to what's happening carefully, and to maintain your calm. Part of that is being prepared in the beginning, so that your first steps that you can take in an active shooter situations are ones that are putting you in a better position to survive it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you start taking those first steps and being prepared, maybe drilling in them some, when you start taking those first steps, you building confidence. You're in a situation you've never been in, which can really take you out of your normal state of mind,
Yeah.
like we saw with those people defending their house, waving their guns around. And if the shooting started, they would have shot each other.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen.
No.
No.
And that wasn't
Well,
necessarily.
they probably would have dropped their firearms because they didn't look like they had any experience holding them
No.
at all.
They
Right.
or they would have hurt themselves even more.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: if you have a gun specifically for home defense, practice with it.
First of all, gun safety course.
Yep.
And then practice that.
Don't ever put your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to shoot it.
It is more difficult than you think to make sure a gun is not pointed at anybody ever.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It is way more difficult than you think. I've handled a gun around people, and it's just something you have to get used to, or you will make that mistake and point
Yeah.
a loaded gun that has a bullet in the chamber at somebody, and not even mean to. And that's what these two people were doing.
Yeah, I went through the gun training in the Navy, and they said the same thing. If you plan on shooting, put your finger on the trigger. If you don't, then don't.
Finger
Yeah.
off the trigger. Yep. So whether you're by yourself or not,
Right.
I always point that's my foot.
I heard somebody. I thought
That was my foot right
I
here.
thought I saw a shadow. Maybe that scar on my eye.
Is there somebody in there?
Nope.
Nope.
They would have answered by now.
We would have heard the bells jingling.
All
That's
right.
my foot here. So we got Jana Hale. Good morning. Good morning, Steve Schultz. Our carving club is at the fair doing carving.
Cool.
Awesome, Steve.
And Jordan.
You've already done it then, huh, Steve? How many people were interested and came up to watch you perform your craft?
Yesterday he said it was really slow.
I heard the Beach Boys were there opening night.
They get around.
Yeah.
Round. They get around.
They got a 409 too.
Yeah.
Good morning, John.
Giddy up, 409. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. Don't sue us.
You know what I want to learn how to do? I want to learn how to do solar. Solar power.
Yeah, solar.
The whole electrical system, because there's AC and DC that you use. There's different voltages. There's
Sure
12
was a
volt,
fast machine.
12 volt systems, which are not as efficient. There's 24 volt systems, 48 volt system. 48 is the most
I like that,
efficient,
Jana.
but also the most
Yeah, the
dangerous,
clapper.
because you get bolted with 48 volts of DC. You're gonna know it. Or you
Yeah.
may not know it. It's
Yeah.
dangerous.
You'll know when you wake up trying to go, what happened?
I'd like to learn that stuff. I think that would be an interesting thing, and I want to do a tiny.
And then the
house.
power company actually has to pay you, or at least take so much
they,
off of your
they
bill.
pay you. Some places have what's called even exchange law. So if you're providing to the grid during the peak hours,
Jordan
they have
says
to pay
thunderstruck.
you the same amount they charge you.
Yeah. Jordan
those-
says thunderstruck, so he had the same joke in his head.
Yeah, I figured that's it.
AC or DC, and I was like, Jim was a fast machine.
Right? Yeah.
And then the
It's
thunder
another
strike.
lonely evening in another lonely
Good
town.
morning, Stacy.
That guitar
That's
player
my
still cracks me up.
Bon Scott impersonation.
Mm.
Now you're too young to worry, I know I'm not too old to cry. You know,
Learning to do impressions. How long did you practice impressions? It's been a
usually
thing
if
for you, really.
Huh?
It's been kind of a thing, an impulsive thing for you since you were a kid.
Good
wasn't
morning,
yeah,
Stacy.
yeah. My sister, we had a Walt Disney record.
it? Yeah.
It was actually a series of records, and it came in the sleeves that opened up, and it also had a book that was attached to the record sleeves
I remember getting those.
that had all the words to all the songs.
Mhm.
And my sister was listening to it, and I had just learned how to read, so I knew what was going on there.
Yeah.
And I started singing, and she goes, "What?" So every time her friends were over, "Come here, come on, you got to hear Matt sing," and because I love music.
Yeah.
I would sing along with all the, back when commercials had really cool songs, really cool, like real short songs, like
Yeah.
Juicy. It's a certain gum.
Yeah.
That it's like you just get shined up. I mean, it's great. Downton Moo. That was a really good one.
And how do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice, practice, practice.
Right.
And
Now, I'll
really
catch
didn't
myself-
Practice some more.
Practicing it.
Most of my impersonations come whenever I'm quoting somebody.
Yeah.
Just naturally, I kind of
try to
impersonate
their
them.
voice and their mannerisms and
Yeah, and then a lot of sometimes I don't really know I'm doing it.
yeah.
You know, I'd be talking to somebody from Australia, and I realize I'm talking in Australian accent this whole time, or trying to.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, "How you doing today?" "I'm doing great. How are you?" You know, that's right. Anyways,
there's a climate in
And they're
America.
going,
I serve
What accent is that?
I serve a lot of people from a lot of different countries at my work, and it's interesting when I ask them. I say, I notice you have an accent. Where are you from? A lot of people are kind of fearful of that question now, and I wonder why. I don't know if it's because of media or their actual personal experience.
it's possible.
So with the media, it makes things feel like it's your personal experience when it's really not. But I wonder what's going on there, and I'm concerned for people who are fearful just to be having an accent. That's crazy.
You will have that urge when you get older, son. Bet.
What's that?
He says, "Thank God I don't have that urge
Which one?
You will
to impersonate everybody."
Oh,
You will,
yeah.
Jordan. A little bit of Dad will come out.
Oh
in
yeah,
you.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping and praying that
It may
a lot
let it
of
be
dad
positive.
comes out in him.
Yeah, but let it be positive.
Me too.
Yeah.
That would be a blessing. It would be a relief.
Yeah, not watching my kids make the same mistakes I did, that would be great. But watching them, it's difficult because I see them making the mistakes that I made when I was their age.
Yeah.
You know, both of them.
That's how I've learned God's word is true and that his promises are real, was by going against my own nature and cutting off, saying, okay, here's what
Morning, Marcia.
the word of God says to do this
Okay,
differently
I will,
than
Stacy.
what I think is the right thing to do. And I'm going to stop doing things my way and say,
Morning,
okay,
Marcia.
what does God's word say? And I'm going to do that. I'm going to obey the word of God.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
But you gonna have to.
I'm fearful of the results because it's not what I think it's going to be. And so then out of obedience, God has proven himself and his word to be true. So a lot of times learning how to change your way of acting and your way of conducting yourself in the world is by stopping how you normally would react or act in a certain situation.
Today is voting day.
Yes, and that's what I was just going to say.
Voting for.
We need to vote. Today is the actual statewide voting for the governor, voting for lieutenant governor, voting
Commissioner.
for commissioner. All
That was a good show in the 90s. The commish.
Yep. Oh, that was a cool show. That guy was sometimes weird.
Well, I mean, commissioners are in charge of the police department too.
right, but
Wow.
he had his own thing.
Lynn Morris
going
is
on.
running
Is
for
it at
Christian
our
County
regular
Commissioner.
places?
Huh?
Is it our regular places of voting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just got my new voter's registration card
Did you?
last week.
I
Yeah.
gotta
I
wait
need to
till
get mine.
I gotta wait till tonight.
Is it too late? How long do we have to change address and all that?
I would say don't change your address. Just. Well, I mean, you need to vote for where you're going to be.
Yeah, because they need to put you in the district where you're gonna vote. That's why they need your address so that they can put you.
And
in
we
the
know
proper
it's too
spot.
late, Jay. We know it's too late. Last time you tried to change it, they wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
It made it
I think
exceedingly
it's gotta
difficult.
be
I did change it.
30, 60 days. Is it a month or 2
I
months?
changed it and they conveniently lost the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, conveniently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The official paper that's not like, and it's not any shape and size. If you go and you do it officially, it's not a normal. It's not like legal size. It's not like the other sizes of normal. It's an unusually shaped, sized piece of paper. And so, how do you lose that? It's not like you mistake it for something else.
No, you're right. I
So
just have to vote.
there's
up this-
tampering there. I believe there is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, folks, if you're in the, you
Especially
need to
in
go out
Florida.
and vote, because
Especially here.
if you don't vote, you can't complain.
All it takes is somebody.
You
of
can. You
a-
just don't have a right to.
All
Right.
it takes is somebody of a political and ideological persuasion who is activist on the board, in the seat, sitting in the seat of the person who takes those applications, and they can determine who gets to vote and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Just by not putting in the right paperwork for the correction of address, and then when you come and think you've done it, it's not done. And it doesn't matter whether or not you did the right things to get there and to vote. What matters is the people handling it, the people handling your paperwork, do the right things so that you're registered. You can do all the right things and an activist sitting in the right seat, and you're not going to be able to vote. And there's nothing you'll be able to do about it. The election's over.
Yep. That's what I meant. You have a right to complain, but don't complain. It's not a good idea to complain about an issue that you never went out and voted for.
Right.
So that's why you have no right to.
But if they're
complain.
preventing you from voting, like they lost my paperwork, and I filled it out on time when and put it and turned it
That's
in
not right.
at the place, and it didn't get to the right place. And then when I went to vote the next time, it wasn't there. I wasn't able to vote, and that was for the president, the last presidential election.
Yeah, there's something wrong there.
Yeah.
Jordan, he cracks me up. This
What'd he
man
say?
is taken.
Oh,
This man is
okay. Did I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
On the air. This man is taken. That's our thing now.
Yeah.
A project of the Carving Club took first place in the fair. Nice. Stacy says, Steve, I was so mad yesterday because I couldn't get my car to start. Jordan says, why is the flag on your sleeve backwards? It should always be facing downwind. It depends on whether you're in the military or not.
No.
Doesn't?
Actually, I found out it doesn't.
It looks right to me on the sleeve.
Depending on what you're doing, it might be downwind.
If you're going backwards.
You know.
He's talking about my sleeve, isn't he, or yours?
Both
Yours
of
is
them
on
are
the
the
other
same. Mine's on the other side, but if I were sitting there, they're all facing the same direction at least.
Right.
The stars are supposed to be forward,
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be on the shoulder. Yep.
but our stars aren't forward.
And they're on the sleeve. But that's okay. It's still a flag.
It is still a flag.
But I don't know if that's wouldn't want that to be a symbol of distress either.
No, I
know
wouldn't
if
want
it's
to
upside
get
down,
people the
that's-
wrong idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a real thing? Because I mean, like my lapel pin on my suit coat, which I'm gonna have to get taken in, but
Amen.
it would always like cocked like, upside down to the side, and Jason would be like, "Matt, are you in distress?"
If you're gonna get a flag pin, get the one with the two posts.
Yep.
So that it doesn't spin around.
Because that's the thing.
Amen.
If you're there under duress, or if you have something, that is
Military and police and all
at the
those people
Veterans
will
Village,
take that seriously.
They have the pins that have the double posts. At the Veterans, I mean they've got them single post, but the ones with the flags, a lot of them have the double posts.
Well, technically, where I'm looking at it, the flag is in the right way.
It isn't.
Because every time I look at a flag,
The stars.
The
are on
stars
the
are-
left.
up on the left. If it's hung up on a wall or whatever.
It's supposed to be. I thought it was supposed
Yeah.
to be.
So I think
Yeah.
I
if
think
it's
that's the
on
right
wall.
go of it. Looking at it from here, it's not, but looking at it from the other direction.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's a misconception. But
I
it's
think the
way
television
we-
always makes it backwards. Videos make it look backwards, just like when you're driving.
Jordan says it. They look good. It just caught my eye.
You got a good
As
eye.
an Eagle Scout, I find the little stuff like that. That's what he says. As an Eagle Scout.
As an Eagle Scout.
Ooh,
Yeah.
as an Eagle Scout.
Way to brag without bragging, son.
Hey, good organization.
Yeah. He's going.
Can be.
He's going
Right leadership.
kayaking on the 21st. That's going to be interesting. Kayaking is so dangerous.
Troy said flag
Thank you.
etiquette.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what you're saying, Troy. If you're gonna wear it proud.
It's
and
not
wear
that the stars being forward are for military only. It's that if you are in the military and you don't have the stars forward, you're out of uniform.
Yep, I have heard that.
Yeah, and there's certain ways you gotta wear the name tag. Like, and there's different like the stripes and stuff. Like a genuine military person can spot somebody even if we can't.
Yeah.
Or you're in the Navy. Okay, so even if you or I can't, they can spot the little details that, like if you look at the all the uniforms in movies,
Medals you're talking about.
medals and stuff like that, if they're not in the right, they legally cannot be in an actual full-on uniform in the movies.
Yeah.
Because that's a stolen valor type of
Yeah,
deal.
it's
Um,
impersonation, imposter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they changed just enough stuff to be able to do it legally.
Yeah.
But I've
Without dishonoring the military.
right, and I've seen military people point out, okay, see how he's got that pin right there? That needs to be over on the other side.
Well, they're supposed to be prioritized as the most. What is it? The highest
Right.
rank. Yeah. In
Jordan said same
order
way
of
for the
importance.
scouts. If it's wrong, it's not a uniform.
In order of importance.
You're right, Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we when we
Did
took
they teach
inspections,
you about medals and stuff?
huh?
Did they teach you about medals and
Yes,
stuff in the military?
they did, and they told us how to wear the. Should we, my nephew.
Troy said Matt's right. I can't remember what I'm right about, but I'm glad you said it.
You usually
It makes Matt feel better. Now, my nephew, he had a lot
I'm
of the
so
medals,
tired
and we
today.
used to tease him about walking around like this, sideways, because he had so many medals on the. I think it's on the left side, or is it the right?
drag the uniform down. That's why they
Ye-
got to fit right.
Right, and so he'd walk around like this, and man, you got enough medals on you. But there are medals that have to be in a particular place, and that's just protocol. That's actually military.
I knew a
standard.
guy that was in the reserves, and he was one of our drivers.
Yeah.
When he was driving, he would wear the top half of his uniform, the camos,
Right.
but blue jeans and cowboy boots. And somebody else up there that was in the reserves told me if their commanding officer saw him like that outside of the base
Yeah.
and off duty,
Uh-huh.
he would be in some serious trouble.
Hot water.
Yeah, because you're actually
Out of uniform.
well, I mean, if you're going to be in uniform, be in full uniform.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, they have T-shirts and stuff that are part of the uniform that you can wear.
Yeah.
But if you're going to wear like your actual government issue jacket, with the buttons and the name badge and the stripes and everything, all the accoutrement, I think that's how you say that, which is all the stuff that goes with it. You have to wear the full-on deal. You'd have to wear your pants, your boots, because those are not regular boots. You can't. I mean, you can buy similar things in the private sector, in the civilian market, but like the actual military issue boots, there's just something about those.
you have to put your name on them too. In the
Yeah.
boot camp, they tell you how to trace your name, not trace your name, but I forget. Troy, you know what I'm talking about, where you have to put your full
Initials?
initials of your name and your company and your 4-digit social security number. You have to put all that on tennis shoes, your socks, your underwear. It's insane, and I've got all that. Somebody's like, marking your tennis shoes? Yes, marking your tennis shoes. And so,
Really?
yeah, you have to do that at the very beginning of boot camp. I guess it's to keep in case you miss. In case you lose your uniform, they can find it.
Okay, so we got Jordan answering questions for people on here.
You burn it if it's damaged. Yeah, Stacy was asking about that, and Jordan was like, you burn it if it's damaged. If you drop the flag on the floor or on the ground.
Sorry, we're having trouble playing this video.
Hours?
No, I think sometimes the internet farts on this computer.
I do too, Steve. He misses the old Army surplus store. I do too.
Yeah, the one right
Army-
next to that adult that pornography store. It's like literally right next door to it.
I know. How is that boy, that seems to be convenient.
Well, I know after I went into that store and bought my camo gear and stuff, the first place I want to go is an adult superstore.
Exactly.
Actually,
can
those
camouflage
places make
yourself.
me so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. I've never been able to go into those and be, hey, let's go shop. I've never. I just, there are things that are meant to be private. Sorry, guys.
There's also another store, a popular store that has adult games and adult things.
Right across the street, pretty much. Caddy Wampus. Right over there across from Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
There
And
used to be a
let's go birthday shopping.
I was on the fire department. We got called to one of those exotic dancing places, where a dancer had fallen and that was really awkward for me.
I'm sure it was.
Especially since all the
You're trying to keep your eyes focused on what you're supposed
yeah,
to.
because one of the chiefs of one of the stations was an older lady, and I get uncomfortable talking about it because
How do you know about that store next door, Matt?
it had a huge sign back in the day.
Yeah,
It was.
you
I'm not
couldn't
going to
help
even
it.
mention the name of it. It's still a superstore,
Yeah,
but it used to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's the kind of stuff you talk about when you're 18.
and
You're like,
can't
hey,
help
we can
it.
go in there now, and I'm like, yay, I don't want to.
They make it known that it's there. I mean, you can't.
Oh, there's a
help it.
huge billboard right up above it that
Right.
has an arrow pointing down into their parking lot.
So you can't help it. See, I know
Sorry,
what
guys.
I know what you're talking about. So.
Yeah.
But
That's and there are places you can go where there are more of those shops than there are grocery stores.
yeah. Especially around here.
Right off the highway. I hear about them from truck drivers all the time.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It
And
seems to be quite. It's like built like a village city.
Yeah, it's like, man.
It's like, come on, really?
Sorry, I gotta find.
So, yeah, I'm sure the truck drivers are commenting about that.
Well, we need to warn our children about those places. Stay away from those places.
Talking about.
All right, hold on.
It
And
seems to be quite. Stencil. That's
stencil.
said that we'll try. When I was trying to tell you, we marked our tennis shoes and we
Stencil.
I couldn't think of it, Troy. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word, but that's what we had to do with all our uniform. And trying to do tennis shoes is quite awkward with stencils. But we had to do it with everything.
Yeah.
I'm just reading all the comments that I missed. Meant to be private. Sorry, guys.
What is?
We had to stencil our names, Steve.
Yeah, that's what I was commenting on. But thank you, Troy. I couldn't think of the name. Anyway, but that's and as far as uniforms, we had our inspections. Make sure that your T-shirts are where they're supposed to be and they're not backwards. And I got caught once, and it only took once for my T-shirt to be backwards
In the military.
in the military. I got
Jesus.
hit, but
I feel like I know it all. I'm going to go into my cave now, he says.
was that Jordan?
Yeah. Oh, okay, Jordan. Thank you for answering, Jordan. That's Stacy Wedeking said that. Yep, Jordan says. Troy says meant to be private. Okay, and yeah, how do I know about that store next door? Yeah, I know about that because I went there when I was younger, and back when I used to huff stuff, I used to go in there
Yeah.
and get the
Yeah.
video head cleaner crap
Well, yeah.
or whatever.
There's other
Bad for
things-
you.
There's other things in there, I
Kills
mean,
brain cells.
But the other
Yeah.
store I'm talking about are in malls, and they have toys and things like that I'm really surprised that they.
Oh
have.
yeah, and in magazines like catalogs and stuff
Yep.
that come to families, they've got that kind of stuff in there. My mom's like, "What is this? This
they
is
don't
what
even-
is? Why do they have that crap in there?
They
That
don't
doesn't
even
belong in a
cur-
magazine."
they don't even have a curtain like to
No,
section it off.
it's just right out there. Like,
Yep.
hey.
Yep.
Then you have to answer questions to your kids. What is that? What? Oh, that's
What
no.
kind of toy is it? Put
that
that
it-
back.
Yeah, put it back right now, or I'm taking you out and gonna bust your butt.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to explain. This.
I'll explain whenever we get out of here.
Right.
Talk about uncomfortability.
I've heard kids say that to what's this? Wow, this looks interesting.
So I found. Okay, I'm gonna play this after our show today, and Steve Schultz. I found a video of us from April of last year. We had you, and then we had Noah on here. April of 2019. That's the classic episode I'm going to be playing after our show today.
Ooh.
Yes.
By the way, I did see the Power Hour yesterday with Skylar and Pastor. Well, at the time,
Yeah, Ernie.
Ernie.
I was going to see how long it took you to remember his name because I have to think about it too. But I had it in my head whenever you say pastor. I'm like, yeah.
It starts with an E.
Or an I.
Yeah.
A pastor does?
No,
Ernie?
Ernie.
Ernie.
Yeah.
Said
Or you are N-E-Y. It could be you are N-E-Y, Ernie.
Yeah.
Boys and their toys.
Oh, Lord have mercy. We're still on that conversation.
Kelly Cosby. Woo.
Oh, were we on it?
Welcome, Kelly Cosby.
Hello,
We
Kelly.
were on the subject of boys and their
I
toys?
miss you, Kelly.
Well, we were on the subject of inappropriate.
Toys.
You can see I'm really uncomfortable right now.
I think maybe if we slid the conversation a different way.
Yeah, it's kind of. You could have worded that differently, Steve. Yeah, let's move the conversation to a different area of a talking point.
Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Julie.
Good
if you're
timing,
just now
Julie.
joining us, you're very fortunate.
Yes, Julie, welcome.
Did we actually lose the signal for a while?
No, just on this, the internet signal on this. Sometimes it does that. It's like a little farty fart, you know. Well, that's what it is. I mean, it's just like all of a sudden, boom, no internet.
But the sound, obviously, folks.
No, everything. This one here was running fine.
Okay.
If this right here says unable to play video at this time, I look over here and these little things are still red. If they're flashing yellow, that means that the audio is going to be fine, but it's going to be a little bit glitchy. But I mean, since we've got this new internet, fiber optic internet, we really haven't had any problems.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah. You can check out our YouTube channel as well, Axe Media Group.
I love making them squirm.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Oh, that's on your watch party, isn't it? Because I can't see any of those. I'm like, what are you talking about? Making them
Kelly
squirm?
Cosby said that.
Yes, seeing that stuff makes me insanely uncomfortable. Because even if you were to purchase said devices and whatnots, we'll call them forget-me-nots.
Yes.
You know, that doesn't belong out where everybody can see it. You know, obviously. I mean,
Can be perverted.
it is. Yeah, it's very. A lot of them are very perverted.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they let that out there in the open like that.
Oh well, I mean, really? Are you surprised? Really?
Well, no, not that kind
Look
of
at the
store.
world today.
Yeah.
They are.
They're not
We're-
pushing the envelope.
It's like the
They've
world
gone
is a
beyond.
modern day Sodom and Gomorrah.
Now, how does
Yeah.
that all fit with the word of God that says the marriage bed is undefiled? I think there still are certain things that are ungodly,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Or is it
Well,
that
yeah, I
it's
would
all
say-
fair game as long as you're both willing and married?
Well, so much for steering in a different direction. You're supposed to turn. Aren't you supposed to turn into the skid, not away from it, right? So we're turning into the skid on this one. I think if you
Yeah, you
brake
know
traction,
what? I
you
know
turn
a great
into
shop though that you could go and have family or family values and family type products.
Well, our married people ought to chime in on this.
Yeah.
Is the marriage bed undefiled? Is everything game? Is it all acceptable?
I personally, I have been married a couple times, and I feel there are boundaries that should be set.
Mm-hmm.
But that's between you and your
In the room.
yeah. That and doesn't need to be talked about to anybody else but your wife or your husband.
There are. I
Exactly.
think there are things that disgust God,
Oh yeah,
and that those things should be kept out of the marriage bed if it's godly marriage bed.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it specifically states that he does.
Yeah, there are
Discuss
things
that.
that yeah. I mean, I was reading about Sodom and Gomorrah again the other day, and I'm like, wow. Still, it blows me away, the stuff that they did. Now, I'm warning you, if you haven't read that, don't really. I mean, if you read it to your children and they're not old enough to understand, even if they are old enough to understand, you might want to be prepared to answer some really uncomfortable questions about what happened back then, because it was. I mean, I see the world going right that direction.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think that they talk about that in
Yeah,
the
there's a
children's
Sodom
story.
and Gomorrah.
No, not in the children's story. They don't.
But
And-
it still is doesn't need to be said in the children's story. It's disobedience to God. They were
Yeah.
contrary to God's. They were
Yeah.
there was evil.
But the thing that I take away from that story, and that's not a story, it happened. It's the thing that I take away from that the most is that God was willing to spare the entire 2 cities, millions of people
Mhm.
that
For the
were
sake of-
doing detestable things, disgusting things for 10 people.
Yep.
For 10 people. And who was it? Abraham. Boy, I mean, he did some wheeling and dealing with God on that one to
He
save
fought for
Lot.
people, yeah.
He's like, okay, what about if we found 50 people?
Yeah.
God was like, okay, well, I'll spare them if you can find 50
But also,
righteous
isn't
people.
it the searching
Yeah.
that's important? If
Yeah.
God didn't say, okay, well, there might be 50 people, so I'll spare them. Spare the cities.
Right.
He said, if you can find.
But we all know God knew the only righteous people there. And so,
Yeah.
but he still let Abraham.
But wasn't it important for him to do the searching?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the point.
Absolutely.
One of the points.
And one of the other points that I take away from that is don't look back at your past too much and don't long for the stuff in your past because it's behind you.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
That's why, they had it made there.
Mhm.
And Lot's wife turned around.
Look what
They
happened.
said, don't look back.
And you know what happened?
This right here is all going to be gone. Don't look back. This is no longer your life. This is no longer where you're at. You're going to be out there. Do not look back at this past life. And she did because she did because they were wealthy, and when she looked back, it turned her into a pillar of salt. I mean, don't look
Yeah,
back
but-
at your past life.
Because
I mean, you
life
can
is
look
like a
back
vapor.
at life lessons. You know what I mean? Life lessons.
Mhm.
But if God sends you somewhere and you look back to your past life longingly, that's not the way to be.
You can look back just long enough, and you'll be sorry.
Yeah. But is the salt symbolic? No, I don't think the salt is. Do you think the salt is symbolic in that story?
Yeah, there's got to be.
I think there was a meaning behind it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've always wondered myself about that. What's the is there a meaning, and if there is, what is it?
Well, there's 2 things salt was used for.
Flavoring?
Huh?
Flavoring?
Flavoring, but it was also that salt could lose its flavor. So even in the flavoring, there's a good and a bad context to it. But salt was also used to destroy crops, to make them barren,
Preservative?
so salting the fields was a way to ensure that your enemies couldn't come back and reestablish their food source to be able to establish a city there again.
Right.
So I think
That was like the
that's
ultimate.
probably part of what it meant was that looking back means that it will it is to ensure destruction and not be able to come back from it.
Yeah.
It's
Great story, though.
Yeah.
Great story. 2 angels.
There's
That's all it
so
took.
much more in there than what
Oh,
we
yeah.
know.
We could sit and unpack it.
Yeah.
The love that God showed Lot and his family.
Aren't you doing a sermon on Sunday about love?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By the way, I plan on being there.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm going to sit in the front pew. Just
Are you gonna? There's
make
no
them
pews.
squirm.
We don't have any
Yeah.
pews.
Yeah, I am. I do plan on.
we
But
don't-
we
don't-
have chairs, not pews.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
and they're all divided up into sections. Like
Yeah, that's what he was telling
I was telling they have family unit ones.
we're getting new ones.
Yeah. Barney was asking me about maybe they're looking for chairs. Maybe we could give them some of the chairs from up here. And I said, I don't think these are the kind of. I think they're buying them new
Yeah, something that's gonna
and
last.
match, more
Yeah,
comfy comf.
but see, I want to be up there just to, be part of the family.
Part of the family. Yeah. Well, love is. I'm a big time advocate for the doctrine of love. That's how I live my life, is the doctrine of the love of Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Right.
And that is, and I believe, and I didn't know that that's really what it was called, but really, till I was at Dr. Paul's one time, and he was talking about what's your favorite part about the Bible? What do you like to talk about whenever it comes to the Bible? And I'm like, love. He said, oh, okay, so you follow the doctrine of love, and it's a doctrine of the love of Jesus Christ. It's not the Baptist doctrine. It's not the Assemblies of God doctrine. It's the love of Christ and what he did for us. The love of Christ is the most important love that we have, because if it wasn't for that love, he wouldn't have been on the cross, and he wouldn't have went to hell, and he wouldn't have rose again on the third day, and he wouldn't be ruling the world still. You know,
there was that agape love that he had, the unconditional.
that's one thing I want to go through is the different loves according to, I believe is it Hebrew? Oh no, it's the Greek. I think it's Greek. They have like 7 different words for love, and each one of them means a different type of love.
Right.
And agape is the unconditional love. And in the original text of the Bible, whenever Jesus asked Peter if he loved him, he asked him it was a different word each time. One of the words for love. But a lot of people don't love people unless they are loved in return. And that right there is not true agape love. That is like where you love them because you get something out of it. Agape love is where you don't get anything out of it.
Which isn't love, actually. Loving where you get something out of it is not love.
It's a transaction, essentially.
Yeah.
So.
Are you inside? You're inside now for church,
Mhm.
Steve. Okay.
Yeah. I'll be also doing there's a outdoor drive-in service as well.
Okay.
We both actively serve the church, too, so we don't really sit down together.
Yeah.
He's on the stage mostly. He comes and sits down, but I do the video, so I'm learning to do
Well,
the
then
sound.
I'm going to be sitting by myself. How could
You'll be sitting with
Barney
him
will be there.
after the music.
Okay, I'll sit with Barney then.
And you'll be sitting with him after the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Barney will be
Well,
there.
next week, after the music, you'll be sitting down. I'll be up behind the sacred desk.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
That's
and-
what
I'm just kidding.
Pastor Paul Clark calls it, is the sacred desk as well.
It
But
is.
I've never heard it called the sacred desk, but that's
You never heard Dr. Paul Collins call it the sacred
No,
desk?
no, I've never heard it called the sacred desk from anybody else.
Oh yeah, no, I believe it is a sacred desk. That's
It
where we're
is.
conducting business between, God and the people.
Mhm.
It's pretty neat. So it's almost time for us to get out of here.
Uncle Ray just got on.
Morning, Uncle Ray. Talking about the doctrine of love and a bunch of other stuff
Yeah, good
earlier.
It's been an interesting conversation.
Love you, Uncle Ray. I
Salt,
hope you're doing well.
salt preserve is preserved. PBS has a show that they think they found her.
Well, they think they found Sodom and Gomorrah because there was proof that
Scorched
it was scorched earth, and also there were people that died instantly from a tower that fell. Whenever the fire came down, I mean, this tower, they said it had to happen really quick, and there were the 2 cities, and there were a couple of little small villages in between that were even part of it. But yeah, and they found traces of like sulfur and things like that. But it's really interesting.
Yep. Well, I know one place we could go shop and have a good time.
Ozark Mountain Craft Mall.
That's right.
I didn't know if we were supposed to do 2 of those or just one.
Oh wait, well,
That's all right. 76 Country Music Boulevard, essentially, in Branson, Missouri. That's 417-320-1221. Get a hold of Stephanie.
yeah, no, Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Well, there is a Stephanie that works there. So.
Okay, well, get a hold of Jennifer if you want shirts like these made, screen printed and stuff like that, or you can go in there and check out all the crafts and stuff that are going on.
Yeah.
You have like how many vendors in there?
30.
30 vendors. Oh, well, it's going to be a good day. Pull up my music here because it's time for us to get out of here. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this classic episode of what appears to be the morning drive.
Awesome.
We have a completely different deal here. It's when this is one of the first shows when we moved over to here.
Using the software.
Started using the software and we moved over
was
here.
over here. ACTS.
No.
Right.
Oh, yeah. ACTS was here.
I can't wait until we can do something better with Studio B. We just upgraded some equipment so we can play the materials people are bringing.
Yep. It's going to be fun.
Unfortunately, I gotta leave and take Rachel to work, but I will watch it later,
Yeah, that's a good one.
and then I'll watch. Is it called Crime Stoppers or Crime something else?
Crime Time
Crime Time.
with Dr. Steve Albrecht.
Woo! I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
And
threes.
be sure to tune in to all the other programs coming up this week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, waiting for it. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be sure and tune in next for a classic episode of the Morning Drive with Steve Schultz and Noah Cobb as our special guests. And then followed by a premiere of the show, Crime Time with Dr. Steve Albrecht. It's going to be very interesting. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
And this has been The Morning Drive. Learn to do stuff.